But hello, fam. Welcome.
Hey, how you
How
doing,
are you
guys?
doing today?
Not too bad. How's everyone?
Doing very well, yeah. Glad to see another couple subnets popping up as well.
Yeah, yeah. No, we had to roll back on one a little bit, but yeah, the other one I'm excited about as well.
Yeah,
But
open
yeah,
scope's very interesting. It would be nice if they came on and could speak about it a little bit today now, since it sort of lines up with their launch, but I guess they're really, really busy with the immediate
yeah,
post-launch
they're
stuff.
probably. I can imagine they're very busy just making sure it's running.
Yeah, nose to
Um,
the grindstone.
but yeah, yeah, no, it's going well. Things are developing, and new updates every week, so it should be the normal.
Any updates on what you've been working on in the background?
Yeah, like I've been basically trying to just heavily refactor Commune to make it more interoperable with other repos.
Mm-hmm.
Most of Commune works when you're in the actual code base, but
Mm-hmm.
this will make it more interoperable, which is
Okay.
always the goal. But before, it's hard to it's basically trying to manage multiple repos.
Mm-hmm.
So how do you you know use things from other repos that easily
Yeah.
is kind of the thing that we're trying to solve. But yeah, it's
Is there any repos in particular that you sort of got your eye on that you're trying to connect it or make it interoperable with specifically?
it's really hard to but it's basically I'd have to show it essentially, but maybe I could show it next week when it's probably more stabilized. But
Mm-hmm.
basically, essentially, like you want to use any type of model from any repo and then deploy it as a module. And
Yeah.
the goal is to make that process as simple as possible.
Mm-hmm.
So essentially, we want ideally you have kind of like deploying a smart contract. Deploying a module should be ideally most things you could probably write in either a file or in a folder of code if you need multiple files.
Mm-hmm.
But I feel like a lot of things you can do in probably one file.
Yeah.
Kind of like writing a smart contract, but in this case, writing that either connects to a validator or maybe it does something unique, and just making that easier for people who don't really code understand.
Mm-hmm. Oh, sorry, the background noise covered you up a little bit there.
Yeah, yeah, no, no, yeah, just what I was saying is basically like having something that's easier for people to understand and use with their other repos.
Mm-hmm.
That's something, and so with this, they've been if you've been following the Commune core repo update, so just the GitHub, I've been kind of just doing that mostly for the past few months, and so basically the goal is to make this maximally interoperable with other repos and other code bases.
Mm-hmm.
And so how can people use Commune without understanding too much about it?
Yeah.
What are some good on ramps? Just simple questions to ask yourself as a new user, which I think is important for access and learning and stuff.
Okay. Well, yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
it's sort of one of the things that's been popping up and that we've been making steps towards has been that accessibility. Like you said, it's kind of difficult for a lot of people. We want them to get involved without necessarily having to learn all of the inner workings and all of the cogs. Um, and so we've already sort of had steps previously on the showcases before, like the simplification that Baco provided, and so it sort of feels like a lot more in that direction again of just allowing people to get involved, more people to get involved and take part.
Yeah, yeah. Basically, it's just about allowing anyone to participate, whether you want to mine or
Mm,
whether you think you can build something that's useful to people in general. And odds are, if it's useful to people, then it's probably useful to the ecosystem. So, just like having that open of like canvas of doing what you
Hmm.
want. And then I think another thing that I've been working on is basically how do we
Oh, you cut
like
out a little bit
across.
there, fam.
Yeah. Um, Basically, like the whole like the goal is to connect all of these applications into a unified like experience where you're not like you're directly using the application, and you're not going through like some third party like sign in or something, where like
Right.
the
Okay.
internet right now is kind of like gated, where like basically if you want to use a service, you're gonna have to like sign in, and then you're obviously like tracked as you go. Whereas in this case, we basically want your identity to be just your key, and if you want to change your identity, then it's as easy as changing the key. Whereas if
Hmm.
you want to change a new like, you want to have a new like, let's say Gmail account, like it's a bit tedious for most people, including myself. So it's like they make it intentionally hard to change your ID because it's like harder to track you.
Yeah.
And so basically, if we have that type of internet, people can do things more freely, and we combine that with crypto payments, then you can essentially have a more free internet, essentially.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. Just allow people to make use of the tools because they're there, and do our best to make sure that they're not gate kept in any way, be that like by an individual or by like a requirement for knowledge.
Yeah, well, you can basically you can encompass gate kept systems too. You're just trying to connect all these things into a network, kind of like it's basically like a marketplace of like tools, but
Hmm.
you don't want micropayments. I think ideally we're gonna probably need to, well, we want to associate the cost of running something with the network, but I think the best way and easiest way to do that is basically the more you stake to something, the more you should use it.
Hmm. Hmm.
And and that's like I think everyone can probably understand that really simply, and like that simple rule can probably create a lot of downstream effects in how people do things and like incentivize things.
Yeah, no, definitely. Okay. I mean, it's exciting to look forward to once the once more of the groundwork manages to get laid, and like you said, maybe you'll actually be able to sort of like show it off to everybody next week, potentially, which will be really exciting.
Yeah.
But I know that we have a couple of people who have things that they want to show off, I believe. So if anybody wants to raise their hand to come and speak up on the stage, then feel free. We'll bring you up and see what you have to show for us. It's a free stage for anybody who wants to take it. If you've been working on something or if you have an idea, by all means, this is your opportunity. Hmm.
Yeah, I could probably show something too. I would have to get my computer ready.
Yeah, no, definitely. I mean, as we mentioned to sort of everyone as things were setting up, this is sort of a very integral
Yeah.
period for the majority of teams working on subnets and whatnot. So a lot of them aren't necessarily like 100% satisfied that they're stable enough to be able to present.
Mhm.
So there's going to be a huge influx over the coming periods of teams that will have things to show off, and sometimes we'll hit a little bit of a lull like this where everyone's nose to the grindstone, like we said earlier.
Yeah. It's yeah, it's definitely a busy time for people.
Mm,
Um, and I have like cooled down a bit on the bounties a little bit.
mm-hmm.
Um, like actually, not really. We've just been trying to get back into kind of like a proper. We're trying to like find a good way to incentivize people to do honest work,
Yeah.
and it turns out that you definitely slow. People aren't used to um, like finishing a project.
They
And
sort of
then
get like 3/4, and then they're sort of like, this
yeah,
is
like
enough.
it's like so they're not used to getting paid or not getting paid without like not. It's like it's a weird like kind of like way in which people I don't know play cat and mouse something. I don't know, it's weird, but
Mm.
basically we're like we have a lot of projects that are in the works, and like basically particularly we have like our management system, our commune management system. So like uh yeah let me see. I can probably just switch my screens. So oh okay, 1 second. I'm just gonna switch it.
Yeah, no problem. So we're gonna get to see something from the man himself, which is always very, very exciting. Obviously, is most of what we get to see in this kind of scenario is
Hello. Okay, yeah, I'll just
oh,
share.
yeah, no, go ahead.
Let's see screens. I think this is it. Yeah. Okay. So yeah, so like let me I guess I can just go through exactly what people have been showing me.
Mm-hmm.
And then I think that'll be kind of fun. And I should have probably done that for a while. Let me just first close all these tabs. Except for that one. So basically, all right, okay, that's a bit better. Okay, so there's this one actually someone made.
Mm-hmm.
So basically, it's like a dash. Like, so these aren't paid bounties yet, but maybe we can have them like they're all like in proposed here. So like we have, like our the commune manager. So basically, you enter here, and then you get started, and you see all of like you can do this right now if you want.
Mm-hmm.
So it'll basically show you like all of like the projects that people are doing or people have proposed. These are the new ideas. So there's 5 of them, and then currently there's 13 projects that are here. They're not all of them, all obviously. And I can add them
Yeah.
as a like well, if I sign in, I can add them. But like basically this is just like the public, so you have like the admins, the users, and like the project managers. So if you want to add you like maybe I'll just actually just sign in here like and just show you. But if I have like let's say sign in, so if I do this and then I just create a password or something, and oh I think I have to sign up. Yeah. We're actually thinking of doing this all into IPFS.
Mm.
And FAM too. So that because there was a bug and then something did like it deleted some of the data. So we want to back up all this data, but basically the goal is to like propose like admins propose like projects, and
Yeah.
then developers can also like anyone can propose projects, but basically like okay, so I create an account here, so now I want to log in. So now okay, now it should be good. Oh, well, clearly it's I think I may have to see. No, anyways, I'm not going to go too much into that.
Ah.
But basically, honest, I think maybe I didn't sign up, maybe I didn't do the right one. I'll have to see. No, wow, okay, you're not allowed. Yeah, it's still kind of buggy. See exactly. This is like another example. Like there's still like issues,
Mm.
that we still need to iron through, but like, uh, it's interesting because like so yeah, like basically, I'll just go through this. So like, yeah, so you have like developers. I think I probably just couldn't. Yeah, so this was the person that created it, and then we have like right now 3 product managers. So we might include a bit more, but they basically go and score the bounties. And right now, these are the developers that are just like proposing them. So you have different developers for each one.
Yep.
And I think in the future, in the near future, instead of project managers, we want the community to vote on these based on their stake on Commune.
Yeah.
So like and then our validator will essentially vote for these as modules, and then like that will be kind of how we'll be distributing rewards. And
Right.
as so subnet zero might do the same thing or a similar, very similar thing. So we might just work together on that.
Okay. And then who in particular is sort of setting the bounties for any of these individual modules?
Who's setting the bounties?
Hmm.
So oh yeah, so anyone can create a bounty, really.
Okay, so
Ideally,
the
like
amount
yeah,
comes as like part of the suggestion for the actual
yeah,
project.
yeah. So if I want
I
to
see.
create one, I can do like Wasm editor and then like whatever. I'll pose new bounty. And so I'm not sure if this is here, but basically the idea is that anyone can propose bounties.
Mm.
I don't know about bounties.
If
Um,
if I propose a bounty, do I also set the price of it, and would it go to an escrow or something, or how would that work?
right now we don't have any escrowing serve. It's basically the payment is kind of separate. It's kind of offline, so there is no escrow right now, but we could include an escrow.
Mm-hmm.
Um, like we could include like a trusted escrow, perhaps someone that like maybe we can figure out some slashing system that like penalizes dishonest escrows, or to have it as safe as possible. But yeah, we're right now this is just like people to basically post projects, connect the GitHub accounts,
Mm-hmm.
connect their repos. So like I can, and obviously for me to like also track them. So I'm not exactly sure why I didn't sign in. I'm signing into my Ethereum account, but I guess like we could sign in or I guess no, I am in my never mind. For some reason, yes, this is me. So basically, yeah. So yeah, if I so let's say like there's some bounties that I haven't really sent. Like there's this one like this one's also I'm not sure if people have seen this, but this one is something that is kind of ongoing. I think yeah, you probably some of you have, but there's some that like don't even um aren't even on the management list. I don't know
Okay.
if that's a good one, but yeah. Here I can see if I can go through with these. So like, there's some that I'm still considering. Like, there's this one. This one's like a Telegram bot for like minimum ROI. Like, it'd be nice to have the community to to help me determine which ones are the best ones so that we can like
Mm.
prioritize those because it's very tedious for me. There's another one here. It's like speech to speech. Oh, nice to meet you. Oh, nice to meet you. Like speech to speech.
Hello. Nice to meet you too. How can I assist you today?
Yeah, it's like that's like pretty interesting.
Mm-hmm.
And there's like here it's there's like a lot of project people like try to show me. Like this guy tries to show like a lot of them. Like, but I'm not gonna go through all those.
Yeah.
Um, there's this project here. Basically, this is kind of like a DL project where um we're trying to do jailbroken like models. So this seems like a typical chat interface, but basically we are going to be having like the ability to jailbreak any model using like prompt injections,
Mm.
which basically means you just change the prompt to make the model think it's not being jailbroken, and it'll basically give people the ability to essentially query the model without having to like worry about it being censored or the model not responding properly. Um, but that one's not so much related. It's more of like kind of like a side project that where I'm helping with like a fellow friend slash jailbreaker. And he's trying to maybe doing his own crypto, and then like we might do a subnet, but that's probably not going to happen for maybe a little while. Sorry, this is part going back. Um,
No, that's okay.
like, sorry.
No, no, no. You just said you apologized for the car, but I don't think we heard anything.
Yeah, there's this one. I think I showed that. Literally I've lost like so much. Like, there's a few. Like, like it's very interesting, like going through them because people like present them to you. Like here's another one. Here's like stock prices and stuff. So okay, a bunch of them are top losers. Like a lot of stocks people have given me. Yeah, it's like, you know, some people call me. This one's pretty cool. I think I showed you guys this Replicom. So like this one's basically connected to all of Replicate, and I believe we also have a Hugging Face version where we connect
Okay.
to all of Hugging Face. But basically, we can like this. Basically, I'm connected to my Polkadot wallet here. You can connect, and you know, sure, I don't have to do that, but sure, I'll do it. I don't like how you do that. Okay, so basically, I'm connected there. There's also you can also connect to MetaMask. It shows your predictions and stuff. I didn't run any predictions, but let's see. Let me go to like, I don't know, Llama or something. So are there any Llama models? So here's one. Let's try this one. So, hey, how's it going? And then we got to boot run. And I'm not sure if it's gonna work, but basically it's just using a replicate API in the background, and we're actually replicating the front end. So we're creating the front end. And essentially we're gonna basically crowdsource the API so that you basically can use this for free. Or like let's say if you have like 1,000 tokens like on the network for staked, then like you can use it. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So this is just gonna like basically be general, like basically it's gonna be like tracing how much you have. So yeah, this model might not even work. So it's good to validate which models work with like
Yeah.
who's using what. But yeah, like you know, there's like obviously like let's see if this works. A metallic orb. But yeah, no. Oh, I think that is working. But yeah, this is basically like an example of let's see what else. There's like quite a few. And maybe I can present them next time, like or like people can give them to me and I can like present the top
Yeah,
ones.
I was just
Yeah.
gonna say there's actually a ton of cool stuff that we haven't seen, all of us, and
Mm.
even if the developer doesn't necessarily want to come up on stage and present himself, it would be awesome if either you, Fam, or someone from us
Mm.
just go through these each week, because it's nice to see.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I have to, and that's the whole point. Here, I want to show this one. This is kind of like the front end I've been working on a little bit. And I obviously don't want to step on people's toes, but this is kind of like a bit of a side project. So this is basically you can connect with your MetaMask and Polkadot. So I'll connect with Polkadot here. And so I want you to be able to change like the website. This is just
Okay.
kind of pretty minimal, but you got docs, you got like telemetry, you got like, you know, basically the modules. So like, let's see, let's try. I don't know if this is like the right one, but this might be an older one. But essentially, I'll show you what he's shown me. Like, basically, you have like all of these different modules here, and then
Mm.
you want to click on it, and then it goes directly to like the application and like, you know, maybe information about it, who's using it. And this is obviously a lot of clutter. I think we gotta like clean up, but like essentially we kind of want you to just use the website or like just use like you not have to need to like use a computer. Like
Yeah.
we want you to interface with Linux machines or computers through your browser, which gives you I think it gives you the ultimate freedom. Um, like if you do it through like a web app, like so like an application like on your phone, then like you know you have to go through the app store, and
Yeah.
kind of sketchy.
Mm.
Like you know for people to like use binaries if you want to like have people install on your phone. So I think a web
Yeah,
app is the
definitely.
best way.
Yeah, anything that stops people sort of having to take extra steps in order to be able to take part, you know, cut out as many of those extra steps while keeping it obviously as secure as we can.
Yeah. Yeah.
Simplifying everything that we can anyway. Um, But it doesn't look like, I mean, if there was anybody who had anything to present, it doesn't look like they are eager to anymore. It doesn't look like they're keen. Um,
Yeah,
so it might
good.
just be that this is one of those sort of calms before the storm, as it were, when everybody sort of manages to get everything established and their foundations done, and all of the subnets kind of like explode successfully.
Yeah, yeah. Obviously a lot of changes. We're gonna be probably with what happened recently where I staked with Smart Subnet, we realized that there was still some issues, and
Mm,
we're gonna be I'm gonna be basically working with that to get it back up to its original status.
yeah.
But in between then, we're gonna be running basically what I call I call like an appnet, or like it's basically just like it's running on subnet 0, but
Mm,
you have a validator, and then it just searches for miners that like that solve its problem. So it's a pretty general system. Like subnet 0 is supposed to be general, so I want to basically show that as an example how we go from appnet to subnet. The subnet is
okay.
just yeah, so subnet's just like it's just the only difference is that you get to control certain rules of the system, but whereas like an appnet is basically functionally the same. It's like you can incentivize miners by creating your own like appnet or like basically a validator that does that scores a certain task or a certain like purpose.
Yeah.
So yeah, like I'm gonna be showing that in the coming days. So that's what I'm working on right now, actually.
It sounds like a very interesting idea. So it sort of it takes the initial, or it has all of these miners effectively like set up on it, and then the validators find the miners that they like themselves. Is that kind of
Yeah, yeah. So
okay?
yeah,
So
yeah,
they do their own recruitment, as it were. So
yeah,
instead of people
yeah,
coming along and saying, "Here, I have this miner that should be able to work for you," great. Instead, the validator or the company in this example themselves headhunt, I guess, the miners.
yeah, yeah. And that's essentially the original vision of Commune is just to have that like flexibility of like
Mm,
a validator not needing to create a subnet and like just like running like trying to solve a problem and then people staking to that if that problem is important to them.
yeah.
That's essentially the whole premise. Um, yeah,
Yeah, no, I mean
yeah, it's
that
basically
sounds really exciting as well.
yeah,
It sounds like a really good sort of flip the script style of, instead of people coming to you, you're sort of going to them. And I guess it incentivizes people to obviously make something that's good quality and high quality and works, because they are in that scenario in even more competition with everybody else that has a similar miner, right? Because you want yours to be the one that's selected by the validator.
yes, yes, that's true. That is true.
Uh, Capricious Sage had a question saying, is there anything extra that Subnet Zero validators need to do to be able to support the AppNet?
No, no, it's just honestly, you just have to set weights. That's the only thing you need to know is set weights. Um, like, and you can set weights based on anything you want. Like you can like that's what makes it a little like unoptimal too, and that's why we're kind of changing it. Like it's kind of too free. It was meant to be like this whole thing was meant to be like an experiment of like, okay, what if we just make this maximally like simple and free? Like and not free, but like kind of like, let people do whatever they want. Let's let them vote for what they want. And we've realized that certain things doing that experiment such that like we wanted to make it really like, transparent for people. But yeah, no, I don't. There's nothing much you can do. Really cute.
Okay, so it should just generally work sort of automatically for the most part.
Yeah, yeah, no, it should generally work. Yeah, with any consumption mechanism.
I mean, that would be great for anybody who can get like a validator that's appropriately set up and weighted and sort of knows what it's looking for.
Yeah, like that was kind of the whole goal, and I feel like I was a bit bogged down by like a lot of the bounties, which kind of
Mm.
distracted me from that. But you know, it's fine because what's cool about the bounties is that you're directly optimizing for applications. Like you're trying to search what's useful,
Yeah.
whereas the protocol level is trying to search how do you incentivize this, and they're both important. And if you think about too much of one thing over the other, then like you kind of lose. Like, the goal is utility, so like
Yeah.
I've explored both sides, and now I'm probably more on the incentive landscape than the
Okay.
bounty side. But you know this they're gonna probably both come together. Hopefully, that's the goal.
Yeah, I think bounties are a great way to sort of have people build something if there's too much demand or too much demand for multiple projects and not enough people who are actively able to work on them. It sort of incentivizes new people to potentially try and get involved, you know. Because a lot of the incentives, for example, people will either set up for themselves with a miner, or you know they'd be looking at pre-existing teams, for example, and so it gives a lot of other developers who maybe aren't a part of a pre-existing team to show off what they're capable of and you know make an impact for themselves.
Yeah, no, that's essentially what the goal is. Mine is, you know.
Yeah, I think all the best systems take multiple aspects of multiple different
Mhm.
ideas or ways of being run, for example.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. No, I'm excited to see what's to come out. But yeah, no, I think it's probably best for me to focus a lot on the protocol, make
Mm,
proposals there, but also on subnet zero. Because I don't like how the subnets model is very there's a high barrier of entry,
mm-hmm.
and I am very much against that. Uh, and you know, it's like I think it has good intentions,
Yeah.
but like yeah, I think what I'll probably be focusing on are more application validators. So a lot of my
Okay.
stake will be focused on that, at least until the DAO transition happens. In that case, I'll probably change a bit, but like I'll probably be releasing what application validators I'll be like launching more.
Yeah.
Um, but I would recommend when in doubt, just like run Open Router and register that, and like you're probably gonna get some points there. Um, but yeah, like you know, it is a numbers game as well. But like if you, let's say for me, like I'll register a validator that, let's say, tests on how well something knows commune or something
Mm,
in a folder, and I can basically stake however much I want to that problem. And if people think that's valuable, they'll also stake it. Um, so that's kind of like the goal here. I feel like with subnets and validators, it's a bit complicated. There's like two things you got to think about. Whereas with subnet zero, it's just like, okay, what validator do I want?
yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So
It's both a blessing and a curse to sort of be unspecialized in a lot of ways. Because for creatives, it's really good. It gives them freedom and it gives them breadth. But for people who are looking for a bit more direction, obviously that subnet and incentive focused mechanism is a little bit more up their street. But realistically,
yeah,
a balance of both should make it accessible for everyone.
yeah, we have both. So we're like, you know, I think we're yeah, like we have both. Um, like we're ultimately flexible, and eventually we're gonna allow people to have their own consensus mechanisms on the subnet. So,
Mm,
or at least that's obviously not guaranteed, but that seems to be the direction we're heading into.
yeah,
Um, so like you'll have like, you know, BitTensor will essentially have mostly Yuma consensus, and they'll probably like these games are iterative. So like by this game, I mean like the social game of like chains interacting, where like one chain does something, another chain adapts, and then another chain does
mm,
something, another chain like, and then it's kind of like you adapt to the network, to the landscape around you.
yeah,
And so we're gonna basically we're both I think both us and other chains around us, other AI chains, will probably be heading into a more like interoperable general network direction. Seems to be yeah. But I would say we're already there.
Yeah,
Like,
you think we're ahead of the game, do you? We're past the post.
I don't think we're ahead of everyone, but like I do think that if it's not a question of if, it's a question of who does it. It's not to me, it's not a question of if what we're doing like is going to be like AGI. It's a question of like who, like, because there's going to be a lot of like cool people, a lot of cool implementations. The question is like, what implementation
Yeah.
gets adopted,
Which one
or
like
is it going to be
really starts the fire?
yeah, like and so it's probably going to be a mix of them. Probably going to be a mix of people are going to have preference for one over the other, but we kind of want to like strive for simplicity but it's hard because the irony is that while striving for simplicity, you create something that's complex. Um, but I I I I think we'll reach the other side.
Yeah, I think one of the beauties is going to be that there is probably going to be sort of a group or a select individual that finds the really perfect complex version, and there will be a group that finds the really perfect simple version, and there will be groups that find sort of something in between.
Yeah.
And I think that's like one of the huge benefits of being so interoperable is that ideally we want to give people the opportunity to do all of those here.
Yep. Yeah.
But I mean, people have had a fair bit of time to express their intention to come up, and it doesn't look like anybody is immediately interested. So we might just call it here for today and sort of leave everyone in anticipation of next week,
Sure.
when I do know that there's going to be a few things up for that.
Yeah. This is gonna be a weekly thing.
Yeah.
Interesting.
So again, make sure this is your opportunity to sort of showcase anything interesting and get people on board. So by all means, absolutely take advantage of it. It's one of the biggest opportunities I think having this every week is to be able to showcase. So many other protocols don't necessarily have an easy way to get the word out there or get your name out there or your project some exposure. And this is by far one of the best ways to do it. So absolutely take advantage of it.
Yeah. Yeah. Like we can cut it short too, because I think everyone's really busy, and I really think that yeah, like hopefully next week we can see more of the modules connected, like all their applications connected into like one unified website. That's kind of like our goal. And we're also going to probably require people for bounties. Like we're probably going to require holders have at least one registered module about their bounty, and we'll help you stake it. We'll provide the stake. Like I'll register your key, but the purpose of this is well, one like for one, like I think that's a pretty easy task if you want to get paid. But
Yeah.
but two, it's like it's a good way to track the system, and at least because we have projects that aren't registered as modules, and we have modules that are like not projects. So it's like it's kind of confusing when you have like certain projects and people are like, is this a module? Like, and it's not registered on the chain. So, I think that would be good to kind of like, it's a simple task that I can totally help with. Uh, but it definitely is trying to like at least engage the system a bit more, like
Absolutely.
for
Yeah.
projects as well, like project modules. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. Engagement's the aim of the game really right now, making sure that people are making use of all the tools that we're giving them, because it's not just developer tools that people have here. There's so many other tools like knowledge from other people and the ability to interact, and tools like the showcase, being able to, having use of these media formats. So there's more
Yes.
than just developer tools here that people could definitely be taking more advantage of.
Yes, I agree. Yeah, no. We'll be like I think we'll be having a lot of interesting interactions in terms of like how we think we can improve the protocol, because we can always improve the protocol.
Yeah.
I think there's always room for improvement. and being a flexible chain, such as like ourselves, like we can literally do chain upgrades like anytime we need to, and if we need to transition, we don't have to do like a whole like overhaul of the network. Like the Ethereum upgrade was like such a like a crazy thing where people had to like stop and change machines, but like for us it's a bit easier. That's thanks to Gavin Wood and Polkadot. But
Yeah,
yeah,
definitely.
like yeah, no, awesome.
But right, well, thank you everybody. Get excited for next week when hopefully a lot more of the teams will be less busy and they'll be able to come on and show you what they've been working on. But in the meantime, always get in touch if there's if especially if you have something that you want presented, but perhaps you're not confident in doing it yourself. As Fam said earlier, there are people who can present it on your behalf. If you communicate, you can by all means get in touch with myself, and we'll do everything that we can on our end to help present it if required.
Awesome.
But yeah, I hope everybody has a lovely weekend, and we'll keep everybody updated, and we'll see you soon.
Peace.
Cheers, everybody.
Thanks.
Peace. Peace.